I could just live in this key all day long. Again, it's hard for me to leave the key of E because it just has so many things about it that I love, just the fullness of it. So before we move on from the key of E, let's look at a few other unique things to the key, things that we can take advantage of. We have our basic E here. Now if we move it up, you ever see that voicing? Where we keep the E in the bass, so we have the E, and then we slide that up and use our index finger. And then we slide that whole shape up again. It's a great thing about guitars is that we can lock into a shape and just move that shape around. So it's E, there's a shape, move it up, and then we do like an E here, and then we move it up 2 more frets. And you can keep on going, but it's not used as often. But just that, it's just, again, another thing that we can hang on, allows us to be freed up to sing. Okay, or like an offering. I bring an offering to you. To you, my King, I bring an offering. I bring an offering to you. And sometimes I'll end songs with, here's an E, and we'll play an E too. I want us to start, let me just put a capo on, and that puts us in the key of F, which is really the key that offering was written in. I bring an offering to you, my King. Now here's a consideration when we capo, is always be aware that when you capo, it could alter the tuning ever so slightly on your guitar. That's why having a good visual tuner is helpful. So in the middle of a song, if I have to capo up, sometimes I'm aware that, and you have to get to know your guitar, I'm aware that on this particular guitar, that sometimes the B string will be a little bit sharper once I capo than it was when it was completely open. So it's a very subtle thing, but sometimes you just want to be aware of that. And at times I've actually made a slight little adjustment, or I'll quickly turn on the tuner, I'll step on that and I'll just make that slight adjustment visually. I bring an offering to you. And I just make sure. So get to know your guitar. Get to know the idiosyncrasies of your particular guitar, okay? And capo the 3rd fret. Sometimes the 3rd fret will make the low E a little bit sharp. And you have to make these tiny little adjustments. So pay attention to that. Now let's go back to the key of E. Let's look at a few of the peculiar things about E that we can do. This is an E, and by moving this pinky out, just drop your wrist a little bit. We get this nice E add 9 kind of thing. It's just a beautiful mellow chord. Now that's an E add 9. So like if we're going to do an E sus, you could do that for an E sus if you want. Or you can just do the standard E sus. Okay. Well, let's look at what we call an E5. Okay. That's an E5 is implying that there's no 3rd, and the 3rd of a chord is what tells you if it's major or minor. So without this, that's the 3rd. So we take that out and look at this voicing. So there's our E5. There's no 3rd there, and it's very. You can play that or play this one up here. It's a nice and very Celtic, very open sounding. Okay. And then we have like an E6. You can always send them. One way to play E6. Then you have your E major 7, which a lot of times you You can do that, or you can just slide up. I prefer this one. It's like E, and then it's basically an E major 7 sound. It kind of has a sneaking a 9 in there too.